We are officially in the summer of 2025 Steam Festival season, and for today's video, there's going to be part 1 of my favorite demos from Cerebral Puzzle Showcase. So get ready for a lot of Sokoban, tricky puzzles, and me being awfully confused a lot. Our first game of the showcase is I'll have the spelling down below. This is essentially a puzzle platformer meets Bomberman. You play this delightful little creature here who can spawn bombs, and they're exploring a strange world and trying to make progress one explosion at a time. The rules for this one are wherever you are in relation to the bomb when it explodes will push you, of course, in the opposite direction. You'll be using this to platform, get over gaps, or to break down any walls or little weird things that get in your way. As the game goes on, you'll be able to acquire more bombs, which will allow you to set up some very nifty combinations of movement tech. And I found this one to be very charming to play. It has just enough challenge to it with the different bomb explosions or different bomb placements, but also provides you with a lot of interesting ways of moving around using said bombs. And I'm really interested to see where this one will go in the main game, both in terms of difficulty, as well as any more additional tech that will be introduced, such as more bombs, more things you can do with said bombs, etc, etc. So, if you like your puzzle solving to be with a little bit of an explosion or boom to go with it, then definitely give this one a check. We're moving on to Node, the last favor of the Antarii. This is a puzzle platformer timeline management game. You play a robot that's exploring a Russian facility that a strange object has collided with it, and now it's producing a very unhealthy and catastrophic levels of radiation. Unfortunately, due to the amount of radiation and some kind of strange signal at work, our bot here cannot be controlled manually. Instead, must be issued a series of commands that will allow it to move through the facility from checkpoint to checkpoint. Our gameplay here is that each kind of checkpoint acts as its own mini puzzle. You need to figure out the exact commands and duration of said commands in order to move the bot from point A to point B. Now, the challenge here is that the bot has realistic or simulated physics to it, so you can't just start and then immediately jump 5 to 10 feet in the air. You need to give it just enough momentum in order to then make said jump. As the game goes on, you'll be introduced to more commands and things become more advanced as well. And it really just becomes this kind of multiple sets of mini puzzles. Now, this is also helped by the fact that you can speed up kind of the robot's progress, so you're not just waiting around for them to get to that one part that you need to make note of in order to then tweak your program. I am really curious to see how far this game is going to go in terms of command complexity. The ones that I got during the demo are essentially just basic movement and interaction ones, and there is certainly some charm to this one. If you enjoy a little bit of robot management along the way, I would give this demo a try. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one is going to turn out. We now go to Puzzle Depot. This is almost like Sokoban meets a Zelda or action adventure. You play the newly employed worker for a facility, and your job is to push boxes. But a few strange circumstances along the way will lead you getting embroiled in a very confusing and potentially world-ending mystery, and you must use your box-shoving powers in order to save the day. The game is split into different levels, and there's bonus challenges and things to acquire to either aid you or to act as additional puzzles. The idea here is that you have a health and an attack rating for a purpose. There's only sections that require you to kind of sacrifice health or try and conserve your health as long as it can in order to get access to additional areas, find additional rewards, that kind of thing. Combat will be related to different enemies, and they'll each have their own behavior, and you'll need to figure out how to deal with them in the most optimal and, of course, least damaging way to get through things. You can replay levels for additional challenges, and there's definitely more to this one than meets the eye. I like the art style, and this is another one like our previous game where I'm very intrigued to see where it is going to go in terms of the story and the complexity here. So if you're a fan of Sokoban looking for another very original take on it, then definitely give this one a play. We go from pushing boxes to pushing buttons with the button effect. This is a short form, kind of, I guess, like minimalistic puzzle game. You are in a museum that's all about pushing buttons. And to explore the variety of exhibits, you are going to be pushing many said buttons in order to figure out how things work and move through this very minimalistic looking place. The kind of logic here reminds me a little bit of The Witness and that style of puzzle design, where the game doesn't quite tell you what the rules and the logic of your buttons are, and it's up to you to figure things out one button press at a time. I like the presentation of this one, and how everything is kind of lined up that one puzzle will lead to another puzzle, which can lead back to a previous puzzle, and things can get very confusing and brain melty from there. Now, I don't quite know how long this game is, depending on your own skill level. The store page says it's a little bit going to be on the shorter side, but I definitely had some trouble with some of the, I guess, like middle of the demo puzzles. It can be a little tricky sometimes to figure out where you're supposed to be going, and because everything has that minimalistic or that samey look to it, it's sometimes hard to figure out what you just interacted with, where you're supposed to be going next in the room, and the hints did not quite provide all that much in the hint department. But if you're a puzzle fan or a button pushing fan and looking for a game to check out, I would definitely give this one a try. We now switch over to Trackastrophe. This is a pathfinding style puzzle game where you play a cartoon train that's trying to move from point A to point B, and you're going to be setting up all the kind of pathing and objects or environmental things that allow you to move, bounce, jump, and other around the tracks. The rules are that you cannot cross over a pre-existing track once you set it down, so everything must be done in kind of one single line. While the puzzles start out on the simple side, things certainly get a little bit more advanced once you start trying to collect all the, what are they? The cabooses or individual train cars that you're trying to get to the end of the level. I like the art style on this one, and from what I played the demo, I would say this one's going to be maybe like moderate to moderately challenging in terms of the puzzle layouts. Since you're given a fixed number of ways of manipulating each level, it means there's only so many permutations you can try until you figure out what the perfect solution is for said stage. Found one to be incredibly charming, and I would definitely give this one a try if you're looking for a more relaxed take on this kind of pathfinding puzzles. We go to something a little bit more challenging next with Glowkeeper. This is a kind of puzzle slash Metroidvania, I guess, in a way, kind of game. You are exploring a strange land, trying to collect various resources, and solving a variety of puzzles in kind of a match style. The rules are that any object that is connected 3 or more, you can draw a line and that will erase them, affecting anything that they're attached to along the way. So your challenge is figuring out how to move through these levels, given your limitations. You need to remove things in order to get rid of obstacles or to open up a path. But at the same time, if you remove too many, then you can't get a path. And if you remove too few, then you're not able to then remove the things that you need. There are bonus challenges to go after. You're also collecting these kinds of like magic scrolls, which act as your progression gate that you'll need to uncover. This one is definitely aiming for the challenging side of things. Not only do you have the puzzle aspects, but also the platforming around and trying to figure out exactly what you need in terms of your perfect path. So I would give this one a recommendation if you are looking for a more challenging take on puzzle design. I'm curious to see where things will go when the game is released. We now switch to looking for Fael. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too much there. This is a first-person kind of puzzle adventure game. You come back to your apartment to find that your roommate has gone missing and has kind of unwittingly created multiversal travel and is now trapped in different dimensions. In order to figure out how to get them out, you're on to pick up your trusty Game Boy, Leaf Boy, and go on a multiversal exploration of your apartment to do so. This is another in the kind of challenging puzzle design genre. You have kind of a mix of two distinct puzzle elements. You have your kind of like Game Boy sections that you see right here, where you'll need to kind of match shapes to get to or interact with certain parts of the grid. And then you have kind of the puzzles of the apartments, trying to figure out how to open up specific doors, what are the rules of each area, etc, etc. I found this one to be a bit on the challenging side. Not only can it be very easy to miss a potential clue, but trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing in each apartment setting can be a bit tricky. It's going for kind of an older school adventure game design where you're kind of let off the leash in an area and not really given any guidance as to the order of the puzzles, what you should be doing, that kind of thing. I like the story of this one, and it definitely feels like this is going to be another one for fans looking for a challenging take on puzzle and adventure design. So, if you enjoy a kind of multiversal experience, and also, I guess, apartment hunting as well, then definitely give this one a try. We now switch to Miss Paint. This is a puzzle game using the power of MS Paint, or a somewhat third-party knockoff, in order to solve puzzles with all the powers of a 1990s, I guess, like Windows 3.1 computer. The puzzle logic here is that each level is a single screen, and you are able to find kind of buttons in the environment that you can use to interact with. And these buttons will do all the kind of like paint related things we've come to know and love. You'll be able to create copies, move things around, change their size and shape, and so on. Now, you have to collect all the green that is in a level in order to consider it solved. And the puzzle logic here is trying to figure out exactly how you want to move or alter objects in the world in order to get through things. There's a level editor, there's bonus challenges. I love the art style. It's a very charming, nostalgic trip that makes me feel very old at the same time. So this one, it's kind of hard to tell at the moment in terms of overall difficulty. While the starting puzzles are going to be quite simple, it can get a little bit tricky knowing where to place things and in what order as you get to some of the more advanced stuff. Still, really great puzzle design, and I would definitely give this one a recommendation if you're looking to do some painting with your puzzle solving. We go from painting to programming for our last game in today's video with Chipwits. This is a remake of a classic 1980s programming puzzle game. You have been hired at a widget factory to make, well, widgets. But in order to prove that you are worthy of the job, you must do a lot of programming puzzles and try not to get too confused along the way. So if you've played any of the visual programming style games in the past 20 years, then the basics should be familiar to you. You'll set up your order of movements and commands in your kind of chip section on the right hand side, and you're going to have to figure out how to move your character to complete your objective. Much like some of the more challenging puzzle games, of course, that Zach likes, you have a histogram to show just how well you did, because it's not just about solving the puzzle, it's about solving it optimally as well. Now, the kind of more advanced elements in this one involve you setting up kind of the pathing of your programming. You see those little gray arrows to the side of each chip. you can change their direction, which will determine which chips you'll be able to do in what order. There'll be advanced elements as well as more chips get into juice, more kind of behaviors to set up. And while it starts out quite simple, it gets very tricky by the end, and I've still at the time of recording this haven't managed to beat the final test yet. Maybe I'll do it, but we'll see. So if you're a fan of kind of visual programming puzzle design, definitely give this one a try, and hopefully it won't melt your brain too badly. But with that, our first night of Cerebral Puzzle Showcase comes to an end. We have at least one more video coming, as well as another stream, but there may be more. Let me know what some of your favorite puzzle games were from the event, and let me to your game for a future showcase that doesn't involve puzzles, chips, buttons, or anything else. Please get in touch. With that, see everyone in the next video, and for our next showcase stream. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and you're interested in more in my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.